This is Tiger Cats postgame on the Ticats Audio Network.
Tiger Cats postgame here from what was a wild situation. Somewhat controversial, some would say. Sold out crowd at Tim Hortons Field now filing out. BC Lions pulling it out on the last play of the game, 33-30 over your Hamilton Tiger Cats. So much to dissect on Tiger Cats post game. We will have Luke Tasker, Courtney Stephen joining us from a roundtable. We will talk to Coach O, many questions to ask. We'll present our performer of the game, get down to the locker room. So much to dissect. Andy Fantuz, Bubba O'Neill here. I don't know how to feel. I mean, you feel great about the way the Tiger Cats competed against a team that potentially could win the West Division. But then you knew they were right there, and in maybe some ways got it taken away from them.
Yeah, lots to dissect here, and a lot of positives, a few things that you're going to look through with a fine-tooth comb and wonder if different approaches could have been made. But you said it. After the first quarter, going down 10-0 with the pick six, the fight in the first quarter was outstanding, and they were aided by some penalties from BC. You go to the second half, and the Hamilton offense was so much more productive. They didn't have one punt in the second half, but they did have 7 penalties in the second half. Some critical ones. It's only 64 yards, but that hidden yardage is massive. It's easiest to look at that interception penalty. But anyway, the offense was so much better in the second half, and the defense stood up, and it was just back and forth. Lots to love, lots to compete. Tough ending for sure, but you got to love the fight of this team, and they haven't really been in a game like that all year. So a lot of learning lessons regardless of the outcome tonight, and a lot of positives to take from it.
From an officiating standpoint, did you believe that there was still a second left on the clock?
I did. The way it went down, I did. It's hard to believe you'd have a 9-yard play with only 3 seconds off the clock. You'd like to think the home court clock manager would maybe start it just right on time or before time. But no, all kidding aside, though, that's one of those things that if you have enough time, you're going to coach your team that, okay, there's 4 seconds on the clock, don't touch him for 4 seconds. Like if he catch the ball, just grab him and hold him up or something like that. If he dives to the ground, just leave him there for a second or two. Now, it's easy to say looking back at it now in 2020, hindsight's 2020, but if you could play that play again, they're going to look at that film and say, okay, if this happens again, if someone dives to the ground, don't touch him. He will get blown as he's given himself up, but it won't happen immediately like it did here with half a second on the clock. So that's one of those ones that you could take back. But there's really no reason to let that team drive all the way down there in the first place. They got aided by that holding penalty that was questionable right before that last play. So just a back and forth action-packed game. You got to be impressed with a lot that happened today for the Cats.
And you got to give some props there to Dane Evans, who comes in cold off the bench and directs basically the game-winning drive there before Sean White bangs it through from 48 yards. Before we get to so much more to dissect in this Tiger Cats postgame, let's set up our catch of the game presented by Fisherman's Friend. Fisherman's Friend, it works. That's the honest truth. Situation was this: early in the fourth quarter, Lions threatening in the Ticats 29-yard line. It's 2nd down and 7.
Adams back to pass. He's got time, and he's throwing, looking end zone. Keon Asher, it's intercepted. Dexter Lawson came out of nowhere, and he picked it off. Now he's up and running. He's across the 25 to 30, up to the 40, the 50. He's across midfield. Dexter Lawson intercepted this in the end zone, and then his own man, Chris Edwards, is pushed into him, and he's out of bounds at his own sideline inside the 25. There is a flag, though, way back on the 15-yard line.
After the interception, you have a major foul, blindside block, Hamilton number 94. That's the second blindside block of the game. Again, you cannot make a block running back towards your own goal line. Vernon Adams was tangled up in the mix of all the confusion of the interception there. And I don't, it's hard to see what he's up and running now, but this was the best catch of the game by any player on the field. Dexter Lawson here, and an unbelievable return, and that blindside block negates all of that.
Couldn't have been, detailed better there by Luke. It really was an interesting swing there, because you take points away from the Lions, who looked like they were threatening to get a touchdown, but then the swing there, ends up, the man pushed into Lawson was Chris Edwards that took him out of bounds, but it was coming back anyway. But regardless, though, Lawson went up and got it.
An unbelievable catch. That was a one-handed, left-handed leaping catch. Luke said it the best catch of the game by any player, offense or defense. And the penalty, unfortunately, is just so unnecessary. That was an 85-yard interception return, negated to be a 5-yard interception return because of that penalty. That's an 80-yard penalty when you're down by 3 points with moments left in the game. I know as a defensive player that you're taught, if there's a turnover, go find the quarterback. But there's just a point for one, like Luke explained it well, you cannot make a block going back towards your own goal line. That's one. And two is there's just so many more negatives than positives that can happen in that situation, other than a wow block, a highlight reel block. So certainly a good lesson to be learned again. I'm glad it happened today and not in 3 weeks from today. So, but heck of a play by Dexter Lawson. He had a great game, by the way, and not a consideration for player of the game. He had 7 tackles and that awesome interception. Yeah, what a turn of events there.
Let's get down to the locker room and connect with Matthew Shiltz, quarterback for the Hamilton Tiger Cats. This exclusive post-game interview is presented by Access Storage. Score a touchdown with affordable storage. Access Storage has flexible storage solutions at a store near you. Try 4 weeks free. Details at accessstorage.ca. As we bring in Luke Tasker and Courtney Stephen for the conversation. Matthew Shiltz, outstanding contributions. You come in there cold in a situation and you really cranked up that offense. You have to be, I'm sure you really wanted the victory. Of course you do, but you guys went toe for toe with one of the top offensive teams in the league.
Yeah, at the end of the day, we wanted that win. We didn't get it done tonight, but we'll be able to watch the film, learn from it, and hopefully move forward here in the playoffs. So, it's a tough one at home, but I know this team's going to be resilient. This team's going to be bouncing back strong.
Yeah, Matt, you gotta love your fight amongst adversity. I think you came in as we were talking about that interception, the 85-yard return, which not got 80 yards of that got negated, but you still were able to battle your way all the way downfield, including that really gutsy run by you that you could honestly say now that every extra yard or half a yard really mattered when that field goal hits the post and goes in. Have you guys been in a game like this, a back-and-forth game yet this season, or you think this is one you have some new lessons to be learned from to this date?
Yeah, I think that's a great point, and I think we've seen everything this year. The ups and downs, the peaks and valleys, whether it's a shootout, whether it's an offensive struggle, defensive struggle, or special teams showing up and making plays when both sides of the football are a little slow. So I think the moral victory in that is that we're going to be battle tested going into the playoffs. We're going to have to play on the road where we were able to go out last week and get a win on the road, and I think we've seen a lot of different things this season. So as a team, we have to get past it. We have to move forward and prepare for the playoffs and put our best foot forward here next week.
Matt, Tim White had 112 yards receiving tonight. He had 2 touchdowns. When you got a guy like that on the offense, does that give you a little bit more confidence when you're in those situations, the game's on the line, and you got to drive the ball down the field?
Oh, definitely. I mean, Tim's just he's a tremendous teammate, tremendous person, and then to be that type of player on the field, so dynamic, whether teams are going to start rotating coverages or doubling him up, giving different looks to try and take him out of the game, you got a pretty special player. So, whether he's rotating coverage, it gives other guys opportunities to step up and make plays, or, if they leave him one-on-one, that's a guy that you're going to have to look for, as a quarterback. So I can't say enough good things about Tim.
Hey, Matt, Luke here. You are playing at a high level. Bo's playing good. Tim White and a lot of the guys in the receiving core. You got a 1,000-yard rusher. What's left for you guys? What's the last pieces that you need to get in place before you go to the playoffs?
I think we just need to clean up the details moving forward. We took some untimely penalties, in all three phases. I think that's the thing we're gonna harp on, and that's this thing that, we have been relatively clean for the past few weeks, and that's kind of been fueling us to move forward with some of these wins. So I think cleaning up those little details, knowing when we might need to just let a block go, or in certain situations, just know what's going on the football field, and we'll just clean up those details on all three phases of the football field and keep moving forward.
Matt, you're heading into a bye week before a game in Montreal that won't matter in the standings. Do you have any idea at this point what the personnel situation is going to be like in playing time?
No, I don't. And, I'm going to let the coaches kind of worry about that. And, we're going into bye week. We're going to get some time away for a little bit. But, we're going to be back hungry for that last week of the season and get ready to prepare for the playoffs. So whatever we do, we'll be ready to play.
And Matt, just kind of dovetailing off that question there, in today's situation, in today's game, was it a situation that Coach O told you, get ready, you're gonna be coming in? Like, what was the situation there?
Yeah, we had an idea. It was kind of feeling out how Bo was feeling, and just a little bit of a general plan. Obviously, plans can change at any time, but we had an idea that I'd be playing a little bit. Didn't know exactly how much, but had a decent idea.
Matt, are you good from that last hit you took there on that slide?
Oh yeah, yep, all good. It was a good football play. Maybe slid a little too late. And he was just playing football. So I can't fault him. He's a great player, Bo, and Bo Combo, and just part of the game. So I'm glad we were able to still make the field goal.
Me too. A lot of guts out there, partner. Thank you so much for joining us. And, again, lots to learn. I guess rest up that body during this bye week and get ready for those last two. They're going to mean so much. Thanks for joining us.
Yeah, thanks, guys. I appreciate it.
Matthew Shiltz, 14 out of 19, 190 yards passing, 1 touchdown, 3 rushes, 26 yards. That's 8.7 a carry. And Luke, again, looking at the situation there on the fact that Bo Levi started, I thought he threw the pick 6, which was really unfortunate. He clearly didn't see him slinking out of there, just in coverage. But then he got real hot. He got real hot and moved the offense. And then he threw that 30-yard pass to Keandre. Great reception. And then all of a sudden, Matthew's in there. So I guess we're seeing that there are 2 guys that can run this offense with efficiency.
Yeah, there absolutely is. And Taylor Powell would say, and many people would say there's 3 guys. Just Taylor Powell's got a headset on and no helmet. And, I was very impressed with both of those guys. And Bo, the ball left his hands on that interception. He immediately knew that he didn't see that play correctly. But I love that he bounced back the way that he did. I mean, he made a number of really impressive throws after that, and you just never know. It's going to be Scott Milanovic and Orlando Steinauer who are going to decide, is it going to be a one quarterback approach to the playoffs? Is there going to be sets with Matt Shiltz in the game? The plays that Matt is making on his feet, you can't deny the impact that's having on the game. He is not getting 4 or 5 yards a carry. He goes and gets 12 every time he touches the ball, it seems like, and he does it at meaningful times, and he lowers his shoulder at the right times. And to your question at the end there, every single yard mattered, and you can tell the way he was running the ball. Yeah, he could have slid a yard earlier. He said maybe I should have, but we all know in his head he knew what he had to do, because every yard at that field goal range makes a whole percentage different as far as the makeability of that field goal. So it's just so impressed with the way that he's run the offense, and I think the Ticats are sort of probably happy with their quarterback room finally after having so much adversity there this year.
Yeah, I agree. I think that you saw spurts of greatness from Bo. He still seems a little erratic under pressure, not himself. What we've seen from him in the past, and I think that it's improving and it is cleaning up. You mentioned right after that nice 30-yard play to Keandre, he comes out. That tells me that there was a plan in place already to limit his reps. There was no chance he was going to play the whole game or even into the later parts of the third quarter. So that's all positives. He got more reps. He had some adversity hit him. He had some more lessons into next game. And, we just talked to Matt, and he's such a good teammate, and he knows the plan and what they're trying to accomplish as a group. So I really positive steps to have multiple guys you can rely on, but also to have a goal in mind that you're trying to get your number one guy game ready for that playoff game in 3 weeks' time. I really love the whole team and group aspect of it.
Let's review some of your CarStar keys to victory. Full knowing that Coach O will probably interrupt this, but let's see if we can run through them and get the guys break them down as well too.
Yeah, sure. Number one was protect the quarterback. I actually thought they did a pretty good job of that today. I thought the O-line in their individual matchups won for the most part, and we also talked about the protection scheme. There were a number of times where they were bringing receivers in or shifting the protection or the pocket, if you will, and even when those guys didn't have to block, they were leaking out and making some clutch catches that were turned into first downs. So I thought the protection scheme, so the plan was proper and effective, and I also thought for the most part that the individual matchups were kind of like tipped on our side tonight. So they did a great job with QB protection.
Number two
was sure tackling, and this one for me was a big loss. That was the poorest I've seen them tackle as a team, as long as I can remember, honestly, at least for 10 weeks. So I don't know if it's just one of those games that there's just factors that you can't really put a finger on that are happening. Or, you Luke and Courtney, there's just sometimes there's just stuff going on that's like it's hard to explain why. But it was uncharacteristically poor tackling for the Ticats that led to multiple extended drives that inevitably cost them on the scoreboard.
Big receiving core too with the BC Lions. Like sometimes that's just a little bit more slippery in the open field when that guy's got a body weight and height advantage and just refuses to go down. You think of the way Katoy is out there. That's a big body, and it makes a difference for them in their passing game.
Well, I remember when we were playing that near the end of the season, Coach always used to say that fundamentals break down towards the end of the season because you're not repping them the same way. So I think, especially with a bye week, heading back into the regular run of things, they'll probably be hitting a lot of those fundamentals nice and hard. Not that they haven't been, but there'll be a refocus on the little things for sure.
And Courtney, to be honest, too, that wasn't the full true secondary there as well, too. So that might have been an issue as well. Let's get down to the locker room and talk to Coach Joe. We're presented by Access Storage. Score a touchdown with affordable storage. Access Storage has flexible storage solutions at a store near you. Try 4 weeks for free. Details at accessstorage.ca. Let's talk to Coach Orlando Steinhauer. And as I said, Coach, I don't even know how to feel about this one. The fight of your team was incredible today. Unfortunately, you don't get the 2 points.
Yeah, I so disappointed in the result. So proud of the effort. Thought we scrapped and clawed. This was that type of game that you kind of felt who had the ball last was going to have the best opportunity. There's one second too many left on the clock, and I think overall, while albeit maybe not the amount of penalties, the timing of them just wasn't right for us as far as Shiltz's touchdown on the run, and then we have the big interception, and then we have the blindside block. There's just things like that would have really helped us here tonight.
Yeah, Coach, lot to dissect in this game tonight. You go from 0 penalties in the first half to then 0 punts in the second half. lot of fight, like we already mentioned. Now, moving forward, what's your approach going to be, kind of going into this bye week and for the Montreal game to prepare yourself best for the playoffs?
Well, I just want everybody to get away and relax, and not just sit on the couch, but be a little bit active. But it's been a long stretch here. I'm super proud of where we're at. Again, extremely disappointed in the result here tonight, but not disappointed in the people. I mean, we were decimated in the secondary. Had people, playing teams and that's just love that. Love that people got opportunity. I mean, Chris Edwards is playing halfback. You got, Nick Cross at corner, and that's so. I know your question was, what is it going to look like moving forward? And to be honest with you, because of the health, I don't know. I don't know what it's going to look like. Haven't looked that far forward, to be honest with you. Fully planned on putting more pressure on Montreal and winning this game. It just didn't work out that way.
Coach, you spoke about the roster and how it had to shuffle around, but for the guys that are on the team, it obviously is going to take every person in the room to make it happen. So what's the message to the person who might not have been contributing in the way they wanted to all year long? Is this now their time?
Well, that's the power of examples and experience. Is just look, this is what happened. Like, you have to be ready. And by the way, they don't give us another guy when somebody gets hurt. And so, all of a sudden you're on 3 teams and you're playing defense. That's just what time it is. And so you highlight those examples and you let them know that it's real, even though it may not happen often. And you may even have to switch positions. And so, yeah, the messaging is real simple.
Coach, let me run you through a couple things here. Okay, so the game is over, and it makes the last game of the season, in a sense, meaningless. I know that's not a word that we love as players, and you're going to coach a football game here, but in the standings and the playoffs, it's meaningless. You get an unbelievable effort from your team, and you get a couple really crucial learning moments. The impact of penalties, an unbelievable heroic turnover by Dexter Lawson, and then especially that last 2-minute drive from the BC Lions. All of those, to me, seem like almost a good thing, a net positive, even for a lost game. Am I wearing rose-colored glasses, or is there some truth to that this game, is, in a sense, has more positives than negatives?
I didn't phrase it quite that way to everybody in the locker room. But I did, just say the beautiful thing is we learn from this, and we know that if we continue that in an elimination game, it's not going to, usually doesn't end up favorable. But it has no bearing on us and our overall goal. It just is disappointing that, you'd hope that we were prepared from learning from other experiences earlier in the year that we wouldn't repeat those. But that's the hand we're dealt. This is the road that we're going to take, and we'll have to go on the road twice and then be back here. That's what it looks like. So let's make it happen.
Coach, your team has been playing so well. Do you kind of almost wish you had something next week, another one? I know you said it's been a long stretch, but the way your team is clicking, it's really been fun to watch.
No, appreciate it. And yeah, it's to be honest with you, I think that the bye is good for us right now. I mean, sure, when you're rolling, you don't want to wait. Yeah, I can understand where your comment's coming from, but we're pieced together here. This was a shorter week. We went on 2 practice days and basically 1.5 practice days, and it's time for us to heal and just give our minds a break too, right? However, I do understand your comment. Shoot, when you're rolling, kick it off whenever you want.
Coach, I have to ask. I know it's going to be talked about. The bullets are flying. Things are happening so fast out there. But if you look back, if you have enough time, do you coach with 4 seconds left to, if the player is up, to just kind of hold him up, or if he's down, to just kind of not touch him? If you were to learn from this game.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah, like, he just don't touch him. That's a real simple thing, and it's not worth expanding on right now, because it singles out a person there, but it's a learning experience for us, and it's unfortunate we didn't get a chance to settle this game in overtime.
Sold out crowd of 23,891. Kind of went home a little bit happy, Coach. As you say, they are sticking with you right now. So enjoy the rest, and, we'll get back at it in a couple of weeks. Big game against Montreal to come.
Oh, yeah, we'll be back here. We'll be back. Thanks, fellas.
Well, I mean, he was honest about that final second play, and that's tough. A tough situation. But, again, as you said, Luke, learning moments, they're there. There's not just the one play. As we always say, there was about 5 of them in this one that could have tilted the scales of victory or loss either way.
Absolutely. You think through how you could just cut a tape of all the penalties and go one by one and talk about the impact they made on the game. The first 3 Ticat touchdown drives all had crucial penalties on the BC Lions. You could point out a ton of the decisions Shiltz made, in my mind. Getting the yardage he needed to, stepping up in the pocket, and instead of taking what could have been an easy sack, finding his check down very late to the result of sacrificing his body. I mean, it was heroic all around. It had the feel and the look and smell of playoff football. It just felt right, and it seems like a team that's ready for the postseason.
I feel like Matt Shiltz's poise and command of the offense is noticeable. And when he steps in there, it seems like he knows exactly where he needs to go with the ball. He knows exactly what the situation is and how many yards to get. I mean, I have a lot of confidence in that guy.
I agree, 100%. I love watching him play, and it just jumps off with he's injured for so long. His first play back in the game after being out with injury last week is a huge run for a first down, and he lowers his shoulder in Saskatchewan, and he's playing with some excitement and some purpose, and it bodes well.
This will be an important time, Andy, for these guys to rest up. I think the coaches kind of made this really, like, they need this. They need some time, and I thought it was interesting that he said we need a mental rest as well.
Yeah, they do. They've been on quite a run here, and he talked about the depleted secondary. A number of guys went down tonight playing out of position. You want to fight your heart out for that home playoff game, but there is a little silver lining in the fact that now you go into this bye, you can kind of prepare for this last game however you want to as a coaching staff to best prepare yourself for the week after against the same team in the same venue, in a playoff environment, but going to the same city. So there is a silver lining there that, okay, we got to take care of ourselves, and we're going to best prepare now. We know we've got what it takes to beat anyone in this league, and they're gonna figure out what's the best path for them moving forward.
I'm already yearning for more football, folks. BC Lions 33, your Hamilton Tiger Cats 30, and a final play thriller. Thank you so much for listening, participating. For RJ, Andy, of course, Courtney, Luke, all the hands that put together this broadcast and prepare us for the broadcast. We really appreciate all the work that you put in, and of course we appreciate you, the listener. We will be back in 2 weeks for Tiger Cats pregame presented by Greenworks, as your Hamilton Tiger Cats are in La Belle Province in Montreal. Broadcast starting at 3 p.m. We'll be streaming live at listen.ticats.ca and across the Ticats audio network. Good evening.